Before I talk about these four things, let's answer this first question. Why does it matter? Why should you prioritize your work? Why not just put the pedal to the metal and get a boatload of work done? First of all, some people have problems getting things done on time when they should because they're just working hard at everything and getting all this work done, but they're not getting the things that they need to get done first in a timely manner. Secondly, it also eliminates the stress, man, of just having your back against the wall to try to get all this stuff done that you want to get done. And thirdly, it allows you to focus and give your attention to the things that really need to get done first. So let's talk about a to-do list first. Some of you may use this now, some of you may use it scattered, some of you may not use it at all. But what we're doing is we're talking about a list where you just kind of brain dump everything in your head onto a list. It doesn't matter what you use. You can use paper and pencil. You could write in a journal. You could have an app on your phone with a to-do list. You can have something on your computer. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're just taking all this information and you're dumping it onto something so that you can see all the things you got to do. That's the best definition of a to-do list. Kind of think of a to-do list as an extension of your brain. It is literally the recall part of your brain. Think of it as an extension like that. Some of these seven-figure entrepreneurs that we are talking about literally just make a list of everything they can think of. The things that are big, they'll break them down into smaller sections. And then what they'll do is they'll decide what they want to prioritize. It's really that simple. But when we talk about prioritizing, everything is built around a to-do list. If you're doing it right, these are the benefits that you personally should find in using a to-do list properly. It gives you a sense of order and a sense of being in control during the day. Secondly, and as I said before, your brain can only handle so many tasks at the same time. And your to-do list acts as an extension so your brain doesn't have to sit there and try to think and remember everything. This, my friends, breeds confidence. It relieves the stress of working through the rush hour of the rat race, wondering if you're going to get everything done. And as you scratch things off your list, you're going to get that little dopamine fix, which is your inner self's pat on the back for accomplishing something. That makes you feel good. And it gives us that sense of power and control over our tasks, like we are in control. And that is very, very important to us on a daily basis. I was asked this question once. Say, John, if a to-do list does so well for us and gives us all these benefits, why doesn't everybody do it? You will find a lot of people don't use to-do lists or do it half-heartedly because of habits that they've already formed. And as you are well aware, habits are hard to change. The most common one that I run into is people that have really good memories and they tend just to keep everything in their head. And they go, oh, I can think through this. I know everything I got to do today. There's no sense in me writing it down. So they don't. They don't write it down. And then when you talk about putting together a to-do list and write it down, that simple thing of taking a sheet of paper and writing down that to-do list is the hardest thing in the world. Why? Because they're just not used to doing it. The habit they have is they look at the things they got to do and they just remember it in their head. It's just the way they've always done it. And it's really hard for them to consistently write things down on a sheet of paper. Have you ever had this experience yourself? There are other people that are so caught up in the rat race of go, 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 go. They don't have time to slow down and write things down because they're always go, 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 go. So again, it's the habit of how they are running and living their life right now. To slow down and start using a to-do list is an extremely hard thing to do. It's not that simple. And other people you might know or have experienced of yourself, In the rush of the rat race, they're always stressed. Their thoughts are always fragmented. They go here, they go here, they go here. There's very little uniformity. It looks like chaos in what they're doing. And it is really hard for them to think about slowing down and writing something down in an orderly fashion because they've built this habit of chaotic, disconnected thinking. And that's how they live their day. People can change habits. And most people that use a to-do list and use it right are the ones that are, first of all, focused on doing it first thing in the morning. And this is what I would suggest for those of you that are interested in using a to-do list but haven't yet. As you plan your day, pull out a sheet of paper and a pen and just think about everything you've got to do for the day. Just write everything down. That's the first step. Once you stop and you write everything down, then you can decide what order you would like to do all that stuff in. That is the simplest and most general way for anybody to use a to-do list. Now that we have that down, let's get into the three other ways that these seven-figure entrepreneurs use to-do lists to get more work done than you ever will. What do you do when you make a list of things to do and there's always a couple things on that list that you dread? How do you handle it? The first priority strategy that I want to teach you is called do what you hate first. So what do I mean by do what you hate first? It's that one thing you just dread doing. You'd rather do everything else first and justify doing everything else first and just leave that thing alone as long as you possibly can. That's what I'm talking about. That one thing. Do you ever have one of those when you're planning your day? It's that one thing that causes you to procrastinate from doing it the most. Why do this? What are the benefits of taking that thing that you despise the most and doing it first to get it out of the way? Well, first of all, you're going to have a better demeanor, better outlook, better energy, because there'll be no procrastination. There'll be no fear and anxiety of worrying about having to face this thing sometime during the day. And you'll be more focused on the work at hand instead of part of your energy thinking about this thing that looms in the background, that every minute it gets closer and closer and closer. You're not going to have that. But seriously, who wants to live every day in anxiety and stress and the fear of doing this thing and constantly procrastinating and having half of your energy and focus looming on this thing while you're trying to get other stuff done? What kind of day is that? If you don't do this, or I would ask the question, why does it matter? Why do these seven-figure entrepreneurs do this? Well, because what it does, it stops them from prioritizing meaningless work, like maybe just checking your email, because they know that this thing is out there they have to do, but they're always trying to justify doing something first. Maybe it'll go away. Stops them from doing this. How many of you have prioritized meaningless tasks just to get done to avoid doing something else? These seven-figure entrepreneurs do not operate on high levels of stress and anxiety like those of us who don't get the hardest things done first. They're not looming in the background, and because of that, they now have the proper energy within them to do their problem solving, their ingenuity, and their creativity. But when you're operating on high levels of stress and anxiety, these things are very hard to do. This is why it matters. And living this way, high stress, high anxiety, fear of facing this thing, half of your focus going over to it, realizing that eventually you have to face it. These kind of things systematically destroy the willpower, which is the number one researched proven ways people don't get things done. As you're putting together your to-do list for the day, if you want to be like a 7-figure entrepreneur and live without high stress and anxiety, without that fear, 100% focused on the things that you need to do, take that thing that you know you've got to get done, that you despise most, and pop it at the top of the list and do it first thing in the morning. My friends, when you're done, you will be glad you did, because your day will be totally different. The next strategy that I want to share with you about prioritizing is called the M.I.T methodology, which stands for most important thing. So how do we do this? Here's how we do it. Let's say that you've already built your giant list of things to do for the day. Take your top 3. 1, 2, 3. Only focus on those 3 things. Nothing else. Create a separate list for these 3 things if you'd like to. But that's what you do. You focus on the top 3 things and nothing else. After, and I mean after, you finish these 3, then you make a list of another 3 to do. Pretty simple. What kind of benefits did these 7-figure entrepreneurs discover by doing the M.I.T methodology? They had a large list just like you. But when you take the top 3 that are most important to do, it strips away all the less tedious tasks, all the less tedious work that needs to be done. And then it lets you zero in on the 3 most important things to do for the day. It kept them from losing focus and getting off track, because they know they were doing the things that were important and they weren't distracted by other things that they started to do without finishing these things first. So somebody asked me a question. They said, John, how do you decide what is the most important thing to do? I've got a list of 18 things to do. How do I know what's most important? The easiest way to do that is just ask yourself this simple question, and I use this all the time. Look at your list of 18 things and then just ask the question, if I could only do one thing on this list today, what would it be? Go through your list, pick the top thing, put it at number 1. Now you have 17 things, right? Ask yourself the question again. Out of all these 17 things on this list, if I could only do one, what would it be? And keep going and just ask that question 3 times. Now, my friends, you have the top 3 things you're going to do today, and that is what you'll focus on. The M.I.T methodology is one of the most powerful yet simple prioritizing structures that these 7-figure entrepreneurs ever discovered. And there's no reason you can't practice the same thing and discover the same productivity levels that they had. The third use of the to-do list that I want to share with you today is a very powerful and popular prioritizing strategy coined by Tracy years ago, called the ABCDE method. Let me share a little bit with you about how it works. It's a method that you could use to take your entire list and prioritize it so that you're getting everything done just like you want to. The first thing you do is you look at your list, and you're going to decide, of all those things on your list, which one of these would you classify under A, which are the must-dos. These are the things that you've got to do that have the highest return. If you get them done, they have the most positive consequences. If you don't get them done, they have the most negative consequences. It doesn't matter if the world ends, your A category still has to get done today. After you've created your A category, now you want to create your B category. Your B are the things that you should do, but they're not quite the must do. There could be consequences if they don't get done, but the consequences are pretty mild compared to the A group. So now you got your A group and your B group. Now we're going to do our C group. As you're looking at your list, your C group are not the musts, not the shoulds. These are the maybes. That'd be nice to get done, but there's really no consequences to not getting them done, if you get my drift. With your A, B, and C organization done, now we're going to go to things that you probably won't be doing. First, we're going to go to the D's, which stands for delegating. These are things that need to get done that you shouldn't do yourself, that you could delegate to somebody else. Why? So that you have the extra time to get done the things on your A list. Then you have E. E is everything left over. These are usually things that you want to eliminate, that you might still be doing by habit, but honestly, they really don't need to get done by you and sometimes or anybody else. So this is what we have done. We've taken our long list that we wrote down, and then we categorized them based upon how we feel the order that they need to get done. So what are we going to do? We're going to start with our A list and get that done. When our A list is done, then we're going to go to our B list and we're going to get our B list done. After our B list is done, then we can work on our C list. The D and E list, we're not going to touch that stuff at all. Many seven-figure entrepreneurs have used this strategy and found out they always got the things done they wanted to do. Now, why would you use this strategy over the M.I.T methodology? Brian Tracy's ABCDE method versus the M.I.T methodology? It's simple preference, that's all. It's not that one is better over the other. Maybe you like looking at a list and having and knowing where everything is and checking them off as you go, and you feel good doing that. Or maybe you like just working in threes and you like just looking at three things to do and not have to think about anything else. It's all a personal preference and how you prefer to operate. Understand that all these prioritizing methods are built around a to-do list, and then it's how that list is managed more than anything. How do you know what is best for you? The best way to find out is try it. You know yourself. Try it, see what works, see what's best for you, what clicks with you. Figure out which is best for you, and then it's probably built around your personality, and then stick to it and use it like clockwork. And it won't take long, my friends. You will start having the same success in terms of the amount of productivity that comes out of you on a daily basis, just like the seven-figure entrepreneurs do. If you liked this video, there are other prioritizing videos that I want you to watch on my site. Look for the time blocking video. Look for the Pomodoro technique video. Look for the getting things done methodology. There's a number of other methodologies out there that are a little more detailed that you can experiment with for yourself. But if you do this and you discover what works for you and you prioritize, your levels of confidence and productivity, my friends, are going to just fly through the roof. So stay tuned. Watch these other videos. I think you'll really enjoy them.